Ludo made 100 crores in 1 year.
What?
Everybody wants to jump in India because India का ऑडियंस बहुत बड़ा है.
Correct.
बट वो समझ ही नहीं पा रहे कि केटर किसको करे. इंडिया समझ चुका है रियल गेमिंग ऑडियंस कौन है. पीपल हु ओन कंसोल्स, हाई एंड मशीन्स, जिसके पास ये फलाना ग्राफिक्स कार्ड है. बट दैट्स नॉट द रियल ऑडियंस ऑफ इंडिया. इंडिया का गेमिंग ऑडियंस ताऊजी है जो मोबाइल पे लूडो किंग खेल रहा है. दिस इज द रीजन व्हाई इंडिया मेक्स मोबाइल गेम्स.
But when you get to like a top level, what could your salary look like? Tell me, what do you think are the top 3 skills anybody needs to do something in the gaming industry?
बहुत लोग ये मिस्टेक कर देते हैं कि उन्हें ये नहीं समझ में आता है कि उनका स्किल सेट क्या है. गेमिंग इंडस्ट्री में जब लोग देखते हैं ना, उन्हें सिर्फ ये दिखाई देता है कि मैं गेम डेवलपर बनूंगा. बट गेम डेवलपर एक सुपर सेट है. उसके अंदर कई सारे डोमेन्स हैं. सी एवरीबॉडी नीड्स मनी. अगर आप बहुत अर्ली हो, कॉलेज गोअर हो, तो आपके पास बहुत टाइम है पोर्टफोलियो बिल्ड करके अच्छे से अप्लाई करने के लिए. बट अगर आप कहीं पे जॉब कर रहे हो और आपको स्विच करना है तो कंटिन्यू.
Where do you see the future of the gaming industry in the next 10-15 years in India? Hello everyone and welcome back to the Dhairya Decodes Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be decoding a very unconventional yet very interesting and trendy career trajectory and career domain, which is of the gaming industry. We have somebody who has been a pioneer and an expert in this space for over 17 years. His name is Vaibhav Chavan, who is the founder and game designer at underDOGS. He's been in this industry for a long while now, and he's played multiple roles, right from being a game producer, game designer, game developer, to now actually founding a sustainable gaming business at underDOGS. He also runs a gaming podcast which is called Great Indian Gaming. And apart from that, what's very interesting is that he also keeps sharing a lot of market and industry insights on his LinkedIn profile with respect to the gaming industry. In today's episode, we'll dive deep into his early career trajectory and his career choices, how he got into the field of gaming, what does it take if you want to build a career in gaming, what kind of money can you make in this industry, and what does it ultimately take to build your own business and venture in this space, and a lot more. So without any further ado, let me welcome Vaibhav to the Dhairya Decodes Podcast.
Thank you. That's a lot. I mean, it's a big
lot
introduction.
has been done.
Yeah.
Hence.
Yeah, but okay. Thanks a lot.
No, my pleasure. So Vaibhav, I want to start with, knowing a little bit more about your background. Because being a career podcast, I'm sure a lot of our formative years, which is your childhood, to the kind of family you're brought up in, the impressions they leave on you, when you see people around you, कोई कुछ interesting कर रहा है, या most लोग जो आपके आसपास है जो करते हैं, we do get, I would say, influenced by that in your childhood. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your childhood. What kind of a family do you come from? And जिस तरीके की फैमिली में you were brought up, did that have any influence now that you look back in what you've become?
Sure. So the background is as basic as every middle class family.
Yeah.
So I have an elder brother.
Okay.
So my elder brother is a mechanical engineer.
Right.
तो जब मैं 10th में था, it was all planned, right? So it was planned that I'll follow his footsteps and I'll do engineering after him. But I was very much interested in drawing. So I was a very good drawing student. I used to draw characters. I can paint, do sketches, caricatures, a lot of things, right? So जो early age में we used to do this elementary and intermediate exams, right? On an average, people would get like C grade on that exams. I used to get A, right? But that was, again, art was in itself was a unconventional field, right?
Yeah.
तो middle class background से either you go to engineering या फिर और ज़्यादा पढ़ाई करके you do medical.
What did you see your parents do though? Your brother did engineering?
Yeah, my mom is a homemaker.
Okay.
She has ran the family.
Yeah, that's a full-time job in itself and the best one.
Most tough.
Most tough one also, yeah.
But my father is has a workshop. So he used to work for some mechanical, die making company in his early age. But then in 93, he quit that company.
Okay.
He had 2 kids, 6 years, 8 years, kind of, age like me and my brother, right? But at that age also, he made a bold decision to quit his company and start his own thing.
Oh, he also went on to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So he had a small workshop.
Yeah.
जो अपने metal के सारे dyes होते हैं, so they make those dyes. Okay. Every metal part that is required in a bigger machine is made by them. Okay. So he started that way, but I always used to look up to him, right? Yeah. Because that was something really fascinating. He was one of the first person from his generation
to have done it.
Done it, and I was always different from that regular path, right? So my brother is like that ideal guy, right? Engineering, MBA, IIM, he has done everything. He can study even today. Okay. If you ask him to do something, PhD, or he'll do that. In fact, he did IIM last year. Achha. He's 2 years elder than me. Okay. Yeah, so he got married on time, kids, everything. Like his
timeline
life is
like perfect timeline.
Fixed.
Yeah.
In my case, I was completely opposite, right? So I wanted to become an artist. I couldn't because family pushed me.
You got that clarity early on?
Yeah, I was very clear that I wanted to become an artist. So my family pushed me into engineering. But what happened was in 1999, when I was finishing 9th, my father brought a black and white computer home. And it was a second-hand computer. Okay. It was given to him by one of his friends. Yeah. Who had a bigger company and all that stuff, right? Yeah. तो उन्होंने लाया वो घर में, and then उन्हें चाहिए था कि we learn a lot of software from work on that machine, and I was doing that. मैं और मेरा बड़ा भाई, we were trying to learn Word, Excel, all those stuff, Tally, Right. But black and white machine में आप क्या ही करोगे? It was 8 MB RAM, by the way. अच्छा. Today we have like GBs, right?
GBs, yeah.
So one day I just found a folder in that computer of that person who used to have that machine, right? Right. He was an avid gamer. So he had like 50 games, DOS-based games on that black and white machine. Games like Dangerous Dave, Prince of Persia, Wolf 3D, Blood, Doom, all those early games, right? The gaming industries.
That built that cult.
Yeah. And I went crazy. I was just
you should thank
sleepless. Yeah. I did sleepless nights just playing those games, right? So one thing
How old were you?
I was in 9th standard, probably 13, 14 years. Yeah. And just after I finished my 10th, because the engineering thing came up, right? So 2001, I went into a computer technology diploma. I did a 3 years diploma. Yeah. And then I did 3 years engineering. Right. So I'm a computer engineer by qualification, right? But from 2001 to 2007, my 6 years were into research. Research in the sense, it's not like professional research as such, but I wanted to get into the gaming industry because I was heavily influenced with all those games. And I knew that I wanted to make games. There was not enough information out there at that time. तभी एक तो 2 प्रॉब्लम थे इंडिया में इंटरनेट कम मतलब था ही नहीं,
बूम तो आया नहीं।
एंड देन द सेकंड वाज, अगर आपके पास इंटरनेट है तो इंटरनेट पे इतनी इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है कि आप गेमिंग इंडस्ट्री में कैसे आओ, ये पता ही नहीं था किसी को। बट वन थिंग आई वाज एनालाइजिंग कि गेम्स में होता क्या है, या तो कोई बंदे कोड कर रहे होंगे, या तो उसमें आर्ट दिख रहा था मुझे, जो 3D आपको दिख रहे हैं, एलिमेंट्स दिख रहे हैं। आई सॉ 3D एसेट्स, तो 3D मॉडल्स दिख रहे हैं। सो बाकी चीजों के लिए क्या करना पड़ता है, आई वाज अनअवेयर, बट मुझे ये पता था कि 3D मॉडल बनाने के लिए क्या करना पड़ता है। सो दैट 6 years I self-learned all the software tools. Achha. Max, Maya, those tools which were free to download and you can actually free nahi the, but used to get those. And we were actually literally living in slums at that time. The 2001 to 2006 was, and I was so isolated. I isolated myself to such an extent कि and it was a chawl, right? So मेरे बगल वाले बंदे को नहीं पता था कि I existed. अच्छा. Yeah, so I used to go to college, come back, and till 2 a.m. at night I used to just do those software because
You were that deep into it.
Yeah, I desperately wanted to get into gaming. So and all that self-learned. ऐसा भी नहीं था like we didn't even have that kind of money to learn those tools.
Learn or go to get some professional training or whatever from somewhere.
So I used to do that, and I didn't have a lot to do at that time, right? So I decided I'll do it myself only. And so I did that, and then I was also creating characters. So I used to create a character, just draw a character and write a backstory of that character, which world this character is from, what are the superpowers and all that. At that time, I was unaware that this thing is called as game design. I was unaware कि इसको game design बोलते भी है.
The terminology you didn't know.
So even if you ask my friends from diploma in engineering ना, तो वो लोग आपको बताएंगे कि this guy always used to say that इसको gaming में ही जाना है. And I was very like I used to.
इतनी clarity बहुत कम लोगों को. I'm a career coach. Ask me. This level of career clarity is impeccable.
Yeah. So I used to tell them कि I don't know how I will do it, but I know that I'll get into gaming. Even in the engineering colleges के classroom के last benches, you'll see all my drawings of characters and everything. Even today. So I used to do that, and fortunately ऐसा हुआ कि my last exam was in June 2007.
Okay.
और 2 दिन पहले तब तक इंटरनेट आ गया था मेरे पास भी, एंड ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट पीसी कलर में हो चुका था. Because the interest इतना था कि parents decided to give me a good machine also. So and parents were supportive because they were imagining the softer side of it, but उन्हें gaming specifically कुछ नहीं पता था. So when that happened, I came back home after giving one of my second last paper, and मैंने इंटरनेट पे ऐसे देखा कि इंडिया गेम्स was hiring trainee game designer. Trainee game designer. So, and game designer is a word that I read for the first time in my life. Okay. So I just called up to India Games.
ये पेपर में देखा था आपने?
नहीं इंटरनेट पे. I was just surfing, and I just saw a job post. So I called them, and they took my telephonic interview right there on that call itself.
Achha.
I said garbage, like the questions that they asked me
and the
answers I gave were like garbage. Like literally they asked me about game design, and I was talking about animation and art. Even today, if you fast forward it to today, right? Even today people have no idea that game art and game design are two different things, right?
True.
It's just that the person who was listening to me, right, somehow felt that this guy is very passionate about what he wants to do. So she called me for a personal interview the next day.
Okay.
And a day later was my last exam.
Oh.
And today I'm sitting in India Games giving all those interviews. I gave 6 interviews and I cracked it.
6 interviews as a trainee?
Yeah. They were creative. So it's not like 6 different people. They were papers where you have to draw something which makes sense. So there was one small exam I remember is, those comic strips?
Yeah.
So the bubbles were empty. The bubbles were empty.
Achha,
so you had to fill in a story.
Very nice, very interesting.
Story, something like that.
So you had to actually show the application of what you knew also. It was not just theoretical.
Yeah. So I got selected. 6th June was my last exam. 5th June was my last exam. 6th June was my first day at India Games.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's the whole story of how it started. But again, it got a super bad halt because वो 2007-2008 was a recession.
Very bad period, in general.
So 4 months में I was fired from India Games.
In 4 months?
Yeah, in 4 months.
But how old were you when you cracked this internship?
I was 22. Yeah. और जब मैंने इंडिया गेम्स में स्टार्ट किया ना, तब मुझे एक्चुअली पता चला गेम डिजाइन होता क्या है. बिकॉज देन आई कनेक्टेड डॉट्स. ओ ये तो मैं 4 साल पहले मैं यही कर रहा था पेपर पे. दैट्स गेम डिजाइन, राइट? सो 4 महीने में आई गॉट फायर्ड. आफ्टर दैट द रिसेशन वाज सो बैड दैट मैं 1.5 साल घर पे बैठा था. आई हैड नो जॉब. एंड देन फैमिली प्रेशर एंड ऑल दैट वाज हैपनिंग. सो आई टुक अ जॉब
Okay.
in software programming.
Oh.
Because
Did you like coding though? Because
I was
you
very
did
good at
science.
programming. No,
You were?
I was real good in
So
programming.
you enjoyed it?
No.
Then how are you good if you didn't enjoy it?
I had good sense of coding.
So you understood the syntax and the
Everything
logic.
because I did engineering.
हाँ, correct.
So उसमें I had
You
enough
built
background,
that.
OOPS concept and everything. I was very good at it. In fact, the company that I joined, right? It was called the name was Orion Pro.
Okay.
It was in Powai. So I joined that company, and they took 20 people in the same batch.
Okay.
Right, that was also like a fresher batch that they took in. Out of all those 20, I was the smartest in terms of what I used to do. So people used to come to me for queries, and if I wouldn't solve it, then they used to go to the senior. तो मेरा ऐसा होता था कि 8 घंटे में I used to finish that 8 hours job in 1 hour in that company, and the remaining 7 hours I used to research on game engines. So there was Talk 3D, there was Unreal Engine, there was XNA, Microsoft XNA Studios. So I had a senior who actually cracked what I was doing, right? So I used to sit again in isolation, and I used to do that work in 1 hour, and I used to just in stealth I used to just look at those engines कि ये कैसे होता है, 3D game कैसे बनता है. I used to try something. Somehow he caught me while I was doing that. And he was very much interested in games also, right? So we gelled up, and from that company also in 9 months I was fired. That was the second layoff.
Why?
Because the recession was really bad.
So even then.
Yeah, they called a batch of 20 people one by one, and they told them upfront on their face that we don't have money to pay you. Yeah, so we had to go. When that happened, right, that was a major trigger that happened in my life. That
what did it make you feel, and what did you understand?
I was happy.
You were happy?
Yeah, I was really happy. जब मुझे इंडिया गेम्स से निकाला था ना, तो इंडिया गेम्स मेरा ड्रीम जॉब था.
I'm sure.
Right, because वो टाइम पे इंडिया गेम्स एंड नजारा, आई थिंक ओनली 2 कंपनीज हमने सुनी थी. और मैं हमेशा यही बोल रहा था कि at one point in my career मुझे इंडिया गेम्स में काम करना ही है. That was my dream, but fortunately मेरा first job इंडिया गेम्स. तो जब वहाँ से निकाला ना, I was crying throughout that bus. जो मैंने बस पकड़ी, बस में पूरे रास्ते में मैं रोते हुए घर पे आ रहा हूँ. My mom opened the door, और मैंने मेरे मॉम को बताया that मुझे निकाला है, fire. My mom started laughing because she was happy. Because it was an unconventional career, right? All my friends, सारे मेरे दोस्त जो इंजीनियरिंग के, one was working in UK, किसी को यहाँ पे से 30,000 पर मंथ का जॉब लग गया था, एंड आई वाज से 7,000 पे मैं काम कर रहा था इंडिया गेम्स में. सो शी वाज लाइक इसके दिमाग से भूत उतर गया है, नाउ ये अभी लाइन पे आ जाएगा. बट वो होने के बाद फॉर 1.5 years ना, तो मैंने भी गिव अप कर दिया था फॉर दैट 1.5 years, बिकॉज इंडिया में कंपनीज नहीं थी, एंड इट वाज सो डिफिकल्ट टू फाइंड अ गेम डिजाइन जॉब अगेन. तो मैंने फिर जब नहीं मिला, तो जब मैं सॉफ्टवेयर के लिए गया, तो वो 9 महीने में आई रियलाइज दैट दिस इज नॉट व्हाट आई एम मेड फॉर. क्योंकि वो 1 घंटे में जो हो रहा है, एंड इट वाज लाइक ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप. आई क्रिएटेड लाइब्रेरीज उसमें कि मुझे रिपीटेटिव काम करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ रही थी. अदर पीपल वर डूइंग इट, बट आई न्यू, आई बिल्ड इट. तो मुझे ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप, क्योंकि उसमें होता क्या था, एसक्यूएल से क्वेरी मारनी है, यू नो ऑल दैट स्टफ. सो आई यूज्ड टू ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप, एंड वो हो जाता था मेरा. एंड आई वाज लाइक कि नहीं, ये दिस इज नॉट समथिंग दैट आई वांट टू डू इन माय लाइफ. एंड थ्रू आउट दोज years, right, it was like very really sad time. Recession चल रहा था, going on a job that I was not really happy. So my father told me one thing that just it stuck to me for. He said, if you are unhappy in what you are doing, right, आप ऐसा इस चीज को इमेजिन करो कि 20 साल बाद क्या आप यही चीज 20 साल बाद तक कर सकते हो, and still be happy about it.
और फिर भी आप खुश हो गए.
हाँ. तो then the answer was clear, I was not.
हाँ.
तो then he said कि तेरे को जो करना है तू कर. It's just the end of the day you need to be happy. After 20 years, ऐसा रिग्रेट मत करके मैंने वो किया होता तो लाइफ वुड हैव बीन डिफरेंट. तो एंड देन ये हुआ और सडनली ये हुआ फायर एंड देन आई वाज हैप्पी. तो नाउ आई न्यू दैट सॉफ्टवेयर मेरा ये नहीं है, प्ले नहीं है. आई हैव टू गो बैक टू गेमिंग.
करेक्ट.
सो देन I made sure that I do some research. I find a good companies and then I approach them, right? तो वो करते करते मुझे गेम्स टू विन कंपनी थी वो मिली. एंड गेम्स टू विन का जो सिनारियो था वो एक्चुअली काफ़ी मोटिवेशनल था. गेम्स टू विन में मेरा कोई इंटरव्यू था नहीं. आई जस्ट वेंट टू गेम्स टू विन. एक दिन मैं ऐसे ही चला गया गेम. जब घर पे बैठा था मैं,
like a walk-in,
just walked in. तो रिसेप्शन पे बंदा बैठा था. सो आई टोल्ड हिम कि मेरा गेम प्रोड्यूसर से मीटिंग है.
Oh God.
तो सो ही कॉल्ड द गेम प्रोड्यूसर. तो गेम प्रोड्यूसर आया एंड ही इज लाइक हु आर यू. तो आई सेड आई वांट टू टॉक टू यू, मुझे बात करनी है. तो ही इज लाइक हमारी कोई मीटिंग फिक्स नहीं है. तो रिसेप्शन वाले को समझ में आ गया दिस इज अ स्कैम. सो ही स्टार्टेड पुशिंग मी बैक. तो आई वाज लाइक आई एम नॉट लीविंग दिस प्लेस अंटिल दिस गाय सिट्स विद मी फॉर एटलीस्ट 5 minutes. तो ये चलते रहा 10 मिनट तक. एंड देन द गाय गेव अप. इज लाइक कि आ जा तू बैठ मेरे साथ. सो ही टुक मी टू केबिन एंड आई टोल्ड हिम द होल स्टोरी. Whatever I told you right now, right? I told him everything. And he's like, I'll give you a test. And if you crack that test, मैं ले लूँगा. Because there is a requirement. ऐसा officially there is no requirement. But I am burdened with work now. So if I get a trainee game designer, something like a fresher, junior game designer, maybe मेरा काम हल्का हो जाएगा.
Correct.
And I'll convince my CEO to do that. I went back. He gave me a test. उसने बोला 7 दिन ले and then finish this and come back.
What did that test have? Like what all
it's a GDD, right? So talking about the technical terms, GDD is basically a game design document.
Game design document.
Yeah, it's a mecca. It's a bible of a game.
ठीक है.
तो
Can you explain क्या होता है?
Yeah, so game. I'll tell you the basics of game design, right? गेम डिजाइनर जो होता है ना, उसे बहुत लोग कंफ्यूज कर देते हैं गेम आर्टिस्ट के साथ, बिकॉज उसमें डिजाइन वर्ड आता है.
करेक्ट.
तो गेम डिजाइनर को आप कंपेयर करो फिल्म के राइटर के साथ.
ओके.
तो जैसे राइटर एक फिल्म की कहानी लिखता है, गेम डिजाइनर पूरे गेम की कहानी लिखता है.
ओके.
और
एक्चुअली राइट.
यस. गेम डिजाइनर के जो टूल्स होते हैं ना, जो सॉफ्टवेयर यूज करता है, गेम डिजाइनर सिर्फ वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट यूज करता है, एक्सेल शीट यूज करता है. तो पूरा का पूरा गेम जो बनने वाला है, you need to think that
उसका पूरा बैक स्टोरी, उसका पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट,
इनफैक्ट पूरा गेम, इनफैक्ट लेवल 1 में क्या होगा,
अच्छा
उसमें विन सिनारियो, लूज सिनारियो क्या होगा, प्लेयर को कितने चांस मिलेंगे से लेके 1000 लेवल्स तक यू नीड टू बिल्ड.
कैरेक्टर्स आर आल्सो डिफाइंड बाय द गेम डिजाइनर.
यस. पूरी जो पूरा जो वर्ल्ड और जो लॉजिक है ना,
द यूनिवर्स इज क्रिएटेड बाय देम,
बाय गेम डिजाइनर. सो वो बाइबल बन जाता है. और उसका रिक्वायरमेंट ये उसका यूज ये रहता है कि जो दिस इज कॉल्ड एज प्री प्रोडक्शन, जिसमें हम एक्चुअली गेम को लिखते हैं. और फॉर प्रोडक्शन में गेम आर्टिस्ट और गेम प्रोग्रामर, ये 2 टीम होती है. उन्हें ये गेम समझाया जाता है यूजिंग जीडीडी, बिकॉज गेम डिजाइनर हर बार इनके पास नहीं जा सकता समझाने के लिए. तो दे रेफर दैट जीडीडी और उसे देख देख के दे मेक अ गेम. सो लेट्स से मैंने गेम डिजाइन डॉक्यूमेंट में ये लिखा है कि मेरा कैरेक्टर 6 फीट टॉल है, उसके बाल लाल है. द आर्टिस्ट रीड्स दैट एंड देन ही, एंड उसमें मैंने मॉक्स भी दिए हैं, रेफरेंसेस भी दिए हैं. द आर्टिस्ट स्टार्ट्स क्रिएटिंग दैट अकॉर्डिंगली.
ओके.
बिकॉज वंस द गेम डिजाइनर राइट्स द जीडीडी ना, उसका काम होता है गेम को मैनेज करना, प्रोडक्शन मैनेज करना. तो आर्टिस्ट को मैनेज करना, प्रोग्रामर को मैनेज करना, ये पूरा जो प्रोसेस होता है गेम.
So the artist builds up these characters.
Yes, artist जो एसेट्स होते हैं, जिसे हम एसेट्स बोलते हैं. 2D में जो कैरेक्टर है या फिर 3D में जो मॉडल्स है, उनके एनिमेशंस है, ये सारे आर्टिस्ट बनाते हैं.
You started as a designer.
I started as a designer. I grew as a game associate game producer, because game designer फिर ग्रो होके प्रोड्यूसर बनता है, जहाँ पे ही मैनेजेस more game designers, and the overall production of the game. So that was my journey. तो ये document use करके ये दोनों बनाते हैं, then iteration होते रहता है, and then a team of game designer, आर्टिस्ट एंड प्रोग्रामर्स एंड टेस्टर्स, ये चारों डोमेन्स मिलके एक गेम बनाते हैं. Yeah.
So he gave you a GDD assignment and to complete in 7 days.
In 7 days. So I went back home and I wrote a very nice GDD of that game. That game is my first game.
What is it called?
I forgot the name. It's something on Good Morning Kiss.
Good Morning Kiss.
Yeah. Okay. So Games to Win had a website with a teenage audience.
Acha.
A teenage audience from US, right? So all of their games used to be around dress up, around female characters, around maybe a little bit of naughty stuff into it.
Correct.
So this game fell into that category. Jahan pe it's a simple flash game, web based game, jisme there's a boy and his girlfriend is waiting on the other side of the road on a bus stop. And this guy is still in his sleep. You play as a god. You wake him up and you take him to that point by clearing the obstacles. So there are like puzzle obstacles that you need to cross. So you need to click this, then something happens, and because of that, the manhole gets covered, and then he walks 2 steps ahead. Something like that. But that was a category of games that they used to make.
Correct.
So that's my first game. So I wrote that and he loved it and he gave me a job instead.
So you got the job?
I got the job.
Nice.
But that is the actual starting
of your career.
Yeah. But after that, I worked in Games to Win for like 1.5 years. And in Games to Win itself, I was very sure that I'm starting my company.
At that time?
Yeah. This was 2000. This was 25 years old. I was 25 years old. Because the way gaming was shaping up, the way people outside India were playing games made in India, there was a huge potential. I realized that. And I learned the process of making a game from scratch. Right? Games to Win mein wo seekha.
It gave you a lot of exposure that
Of course. See, Games to Win is a company jahan pe aap dekhoge na, gaming industry ke आधे से ज़्यादा लोग have been through Games to Win. Games to Win is a mid-scale company, but the amount of work you do, वो आप 10 बंदों का काम करते हो वहाँ पे.
True.
Compared that with Hungama, it's a big company, आराम से चलता है वहाँ पे. Games to Win is a company जहाँ पे बहुत सीखने मिला मुझे. So the overall process of game making, right from scratch, writing a GDD to taking it live, वो सब वहाँ पे सीखा था. वो gave me a confidence कि इतना rocket science
नहीं है, मतलब कर सकते हैं.
हाँ. And during that period, right, I was still connected to my senior, who I used to work with in the software company. Right, and he was interested in games. I was consistently convincing him कि कुछ करते हैं.
अच्छा, you were?
Yeah, he was my 3 years senior than me. I was convincing him कि कुछ करते हैं.
But tell me one thing before we go to that story. आप मुझे ये बताओ. It's very interesting to ask you this at this point because first you got hired as a trainee.
Yeah.
वो firing हो गई. That's fine. You went back to software and you cracked the job at Games to Win also.
Yeah.
From not having, you didn't have any professional learning or mentorship given to you to understand the gaming industry. It was self-interest and self-learning.
Yeah.
Okay? Tell me, what do you think are the top 3 skills anybody needs to become, to do something in the gaming industry that still holds true? And do you think what it took to get into the industry back then versus abhi, has it changed thoda?
Drastically.
Okay.
It has changed drastically. See, जब हम लोग try कर रहे थे ना, there was no institutes या colleges जो आपको
पढ़ा रहे थे.
Even basics सिखा दे. अभी you will get like hundreds of Udemy courses, Coursera जो आपको at least terminologies, lingos सिखा देंगे.
True.
वो टाइम पे वो नहीं था, right? तो वो easy तो बहुत हुआ है to learn, क्योंकि information उतनी है. दूसरी चीज
the skill set. Top 3 skills that you think somebody should have to get into this industry.
So, see, one mistake that a lot of people do, बहुत लोग ये mistake कर देते हैं कि उन्हें ये नहीं समझ में आता है कि उनका skill set क्या है. Gaming industry में जब लोग देखते हैं ना, उन्हें सिर्फ ये दिखाई देता है कि मैं game developer बनूंगा. बट गेम डेवलपर एक सुपर सेट है, उसके अंदर कई सारे डोमेन्स है, ब्रॉडली 4 डोमेन्स है, गेम डिजाइन, गेम आर्ट, गेम प्रोग्रामिंग एंड गेम टेस्टिंग।
ओके,
अब अगर आपको गेमिंग इंडस्ट्री में आना है ना, तो आपको बेसिकली अलाइन करना होगा आपके स्किल सेट टू वन ऑफ दीज डोमेन्स। कई लोग सब कुछ सीख लेते हैं, उन्हें सब कुछ करना है, उससे कुछ नहीं होता। स्पेशलाइजेशन इज द की, राइट, टू गेट इन। अब बाद में करो बहुत सारी चीजें, बट अगर आप मान लो आप आर्टिस्ट हो, आपका ड्राइंग अच्छा है, आपको सेंस है विजुअलाइजेशन का, और आप गेम डेवलपमेंट के लिए यूनिटी सीखने बैठ जाओगे तो आप कभी ग्रो नहीं कर पाओगे। आप सीखो सॉफ्टवेयर जो मैक्स से माया है, बिकम अ गेम आर्टिस्ट और अप्लाई एज अ गेम आर्टिस्ट इन गेमिंग इंडस्ट्री। अगर आप प्रोग्रामिंग में, गेम डेवलपमेंट, अगर आप कोडर बनना चाहते हो तो लर्न द ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग कॉन्सेप्ट्स, वो बेसिक्स है। उसके बाद यू डू यूनिटी, उसमें सी शार्प का यूज करके आप कोई डेमोज बनाओ, प्रोटोटाइप्स बनाओ। अनरियल यूज कर रहे हो तो C++ पे बनाओ। तो आप प्रोग्रामिंग को बेस पकड़ के चल रहे हो, देन यू कैन एक्चुअली प्लान योर करियर एज अ प्रोग्रामर। अगर आप एक डिजाइनर हो तो देन यू नीड टू स्टार्ट विजुअलाइजिंग, क्रिएटिंग स्टफ, creating mock stories, dissecting
there
popular
it's not
games.
more on the hard skills, I feel, as such. As a designer, what skills do you think will be?
So there are top 3 skills that you need as a game designer. First is visualization.
ठीक है.
और वो आती है observation से.
True.
आप movies देखो.
You have to be a very good observer.
Yeah. और आप मूवीज देखो, आप कंज्यूम, इतना कंटेंट कंज्यूम करो, लोगों को देखो, यू विल फाइंड ग्रेट स्टोरीज, राइट। मूवीज है क्या? मूवीज आर स्टोरीज अराउंड यू, राइट। किसी ने कुछ देखा है, उसी के ऊपर मूवी बना है, राइट। सो दैट्स हाउ यू विल गेट द। आई रिमेंबर वन इंसिडेंट, जो मैं इंडिया गेम्स में जब भी गया ना, तो माय सीनियर, माय गेम प्रोड्यूसर, रियली गुड गाय, ही ऑन द फर्स्ट डे इटसेल्फ उन्होंने मुझे इतनी मोटी ग्रीक माइथोलॉजी की किताब दे दी।
अच्छा।
टू रीड द स्टोरी, टू लर्न ग्रीक माइथोलॉजी, एंड इट वाज सो फैसिनेटिंग। मैंने वो पूरी किताब पढ़ ली एंड आई गॉट टू अंडरस्टैंड ग्रीक माइथोलॉजी। अब इमेजिन करो, आप एक गेम डिजाइनर हो एंड द हायर मैनेजमेंट कम्स एंड टेल्स यू कि हमें नेक्स्ट गेम बनाना है इंडियन माइथोलॉजी पे, और आपको पता ही नहीं है उसके बारे में कुछ, राइट। ग्रीक माइथोलॉजी हेल्प मी लर्न अ लॉट मोर अदर स्टफ आल्सो, राइट। बट गेम डिजाइनर शुड कंज्यूम अ लॉट ऑफ स्टफ, तब आप अच्छी स्टोरीज बना पाओगे, अच्छे वर्ल्ड्स बना पाओगे। सो विजुअलाइजेशन इज फर्स्ट। सेकंड इज डॉक्यूमेंटेशन, बिकॉज गेम डिजाइनर जब सोचता है तो पूरा गेम अपने दिमाग में सोचता है। ही स्क्रिबल्स अ लॉट, ठीक है, बट अ गुड गेम डिजाइनर इज द वन जो अपने आइडियाज को सही तरीके से डॉक्यूमेंट में डाल पाए।
करेक्ट, because you have to present it also, and articulate it.
and आर्टिस्ट आपके पास रोज नहीं आने वाला है पूछने के लिए कि इसमें क्या करूं, वो पढ़ के समझने वाला है, राइट। तो उसको डॉक्यूमेंट करना आपको बहुत अच्छे तरीके से आना चाहिए। एंड द थर्ड थिंग इज कम्युनिकेशन। कम्युनिकेशन आपके बहुत सॉफ्ट स्किल्स टॉप लेवल पे होने चाहिए, बिकॉज आपको एज अ गेम डिजाइनर बहुत डिप्लोमेटिक रहना होता है। तो ऐसे भी इंसिडेंट्स हैं जो मेरे साथ खुद हुए हैं। आई वॉज वर्किंग समवेयर जहाँ पे आर्टिस्ट यूज्ड टू लव द CEO, बट द प्रोग्रामर यूज्ड टू हेट द CEO, ठीक है। एंड देयर इज अ रिक्वायरमेंट दैट आई हैव, CEO is not even involved into this, but I have. I have to go and tell the artist that, this is something that the CEO wants to see in the game. So he used to happily do it. On the other hand, you go and tell the programmer that you know how the CEO is. You'll need to get it done. So that's the kind of relationship that you need to maintain between the teams. Otherwise, you will never be able to manage the complete production, because you'll meet 100 different kinds of heads, right? So that's the only thing that you need as a game designer.
Okay.
But your documentation has to be
very
great. And then being realistic with your designs is also important. क्योंकि कई लोग बहुत weird चीजें कुछ भी कर देते हैं which does not fit into the bracket of something, so वो नहीं हो पाता। So गेम डिजाइनर के लिए ये है, बट उसी तरह ये चारों डोमेन्स है ना, लोग ये नहीं समझ पाते कि मेरा स्किल सेट क्या। अब मैंने जो 3 स्किल सेट आपको बताया, इफ समबडी if you might have seen ना, आर्टिस्ट बहुत ऐसे होते हैं जो आइसोलेटेड होते हैं, उनका काम ब्यूटीफुल होता है, बट वो लोग कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर पाते, अच्छे तरीके से नहीं कर पाते. So someone like him should not actually jump into game design. तो आपको ये डोमेन्स में से अपना स्किल सेट क्या स्ट्रांग है
वो एनालाइज करके
जो यूज करके 20 साल तक आप रिग्रेट नहीं कर पाओ, तो वो आपको सोचना पड़ेगा. That is something that people should keep in mind.
Got it. Very interesting. And like you were saying, when you worked at India Games also 1.5 years, तभी you had decided कि अपना खुद का मैं कुछ करूँगा.
No, this was India Games was 4 months. Games to Win was 1.5.
Games to Win, you were working there for 1.5 years.
Yeah.
And you decided then only that it's not a very big deal. I'll get something of my own. And you were persuading your senior from the software company.
Yeah.
So what happened then?
So one thing that actually made me decide कि मैं start करूँगा is because being a game designer, I was also like an associate game producer to my producer. Or by the way, the producer who eventually hired me, right? He's my mentor till date.
Acha.
This was back in 2009 to even today.
Today, nice.
Because I remember when he gave me that test, right? I told him that that I'm really thankful for this, and he will not regret this in his life. I think I haven't asked him yet, but
I'm sorry,
maybe. So while I had Games to Win, right? So I was doing like half of the job of a एसोसिएट गेम प्रोड्यूसर. तो हमें एक चीज़ ऐसी थी कि कंपनीज जो बड़ी कंपनीज होती है वो कभी भी सारे गेम्स इन हाउस नहीं बनाती, आउटसोर्स करती है. सो हमारा जॉब ये था कि हमें ऐसे भी स्टूडियोज फिगर आउट करने थे जो इंडिया में है, जो छोटे हैं, जो अच्छे क्वालिटी के गेम्स बना के दे सकते हैं अफोर्डेबल प्राइसेस पे. आई यूज्ड टू फाइंड इट वेरी डिफिकल्ट. मुझे मिल ही नहीं रहे थे स्टूडियोज. तो
दिस वाज व्हिच ईयर?
2010.
तब भी नहीं मिल रहे.
हाँ, तभी तो 20-25 कंपनीज थी इंडिया में. तो मुझे मिल नहीं रहे थे.
ओके.
तो दैट इज द रीजन.
हाउ यू थॉट के
तो मैंने सोचा व्हाई डोंट वी गो ऑन द अदर साइड ऑफ द टेबल,
स्टार्ट
बिकमिंग द वन जो इसके लिए लोग ढूंढ रहे हैं, राइट? बट द प्रॉब्लम वाज फर्स्ट माय फ्रेंड वाज नॉट गेटिंग कन्विंस्ड, द सीनियर, राइट? बिकॉज ही वाज अ वेरी शार्प कोडर.
ओके.
और मुझे कोडिंग अभी नहीं करनी थी. आई वाज वे पास. हाँ, तो मैं निकल गया था उसमें से. I was good at art and design, right? So I would have still made that art for the game. तो मेरे लिए सिर्फ वो प्रोग्रामर जरूरी था. तो what I decided was till the time I convinced this guy, and I wanted to move also from that games to win space, right? So एक चीज जो मुझे कम लग रही थी वो थी मेरा exposure. जो मुझे नेटवर्क नहीं था मेरा बिल्कुल भी. I didn't know people. People didn't know me.
But it's also a very small industry, ना? Industry है भी तब, मतलब at least तब कितने ही लोग थे?
Yeah, but it was important because to network because I had super confidence in gaming industry at that time also. मुझे पता नहीं क्यों, मुझे पता था कि ये फटने
कुछ बड़ा बनेगा.
तो what I did was I quit Games to Win and I went into Hungama.
अच्छा.
हाँ, the only reason I went to Hungama was because I wanted to network. और हंगामा एक ऐसी कंपनी थी जो बॉलीवुड से काफी कनेक्टेड थी.
Correct.
They used to make contest and flash games for Bollywood celebrities and all. तो and compared to Games to Win ना, हंगामा एक बड़े फ्लोर पे 800 लोग बैठते थे.
Yeah, it was a larger company.
It's a big company. So बड़े फ्लोर पे 800 लोग बैठते थे. और day 1 पे जब मैं वहाँ पे गया, none of them knew me.
हाँ, but how will they know you?
हाँ, मतलब none of them knew me. I'm coming to the story. The objective that I had in Hungama was कि at least half of them should know me by the time
you
leave.
Quit.
Yeah, that was my ultimate goal. So Hungama में literally we built good stuff. DTH games.
What was your role when you joined Hungama?
I was a associate game producer.
Associate game producer.
तो हंगामा में for the first time we made games for DTH platform. तो Tata Sky launched gaming platform.
Yeah, they had games. I remember playing them.
Oh, so 100 games I've
made.
Yeah, I've made.
Would have played one of your games for sure.
Yeah. So और वो बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स था because we used to make flash games.
हाँ.
जिसका लिमिट था 2 MB. राइट, 2 MB में आपको गेम पूरा बनाना था. DTH में it was only 150 KB. तो वो was drastic और वो भी remote पे. So as a game designer it was a great challenge. But interesting stuff. But the thing is what I did was मेरा जहाँ काम भी नहीं था ना तो मैं उनके साथ बैठ जाता था. हाँ. So in some cases कुछ लोग थे जिनके साथ मैंने कनेक्ट किया था. If they used to go for a meeting to meet a celebrity, I used to join them. So the just वही था कि I should know people should know me. And I just started creating a vibe कि there's something called as underdogs. Right. From that time itself. Okay. And there was one incident जहाँ पे I didn't get enough hike and all that happened in Hungama, so I decided this is the right time. It was 26. I was 26. I decided कि 26 में मैं start कर दूँगा. तो I quit Hungama and I started underDOGS. So by the time I left, I think half of them knew me because यही objective था. In fact, my first 6-7 projects that I took were from these people only. These people only? Yeah. They only gave me. So I started underDOGS as a servicing company. Right after you left Hungama? Or you started building it while you were there? So I still remember the GoDaddy or कोई other domain था. That was made, underdogsthestudio.com was made in Hungama only. Achha. I was sitting in Hungama and I made that website. So, why the name underDOGS though? I would like to know the story. Yeah, so underDOGS is something that is like me. It's me. It's my story. It's very relatable, right? I was a very average student. Right. I was a backbencher. Yeah. पूरे अगर आप schooling देखो ना तो nobody knew me. But by the end of it, I used to do something like I used to top it and I used to. Engineering में भी मुझे I think मुझे 13 KTs थे. Backlogs थे 13 at one point, yeah. And I topped engineering. And you topped engineering? Yeah, I did. Man, what is this? Okay. Very interesting. Yeah, so वो है ना वो that's an attribute that of trait you have. Yeah. And funny story, like I keep on seeing this. I've done like every time this question comes up, right? There's a very nice metaphor or say example that I have is there's a boxing match now. A boxing match में एक champion होता है and one is a challenger. जो probably आपने सुना नहीं होगा उसका नाम नहीं सुना. He's just a challenger. When the boxing match starts, you know जीतने वाला champion है. Right? You know it because he's there. He's a champion, right? But अंदर से ना the feeling. But you want the challenger to win. अब cricket match देख लो. If it's not India, even Pakistan versus Australia will support Pakistan. Because that's So that was something that is there with me. Even today, I believe more in doing, rather than just saying it first and then showing it. I'll rather do it and then I'll do the bawal and all. Right? So that is how the company also started. Right. But I was very sure. In fact, Games to Win में था ना तभी I decided मेरे company का नाम underDOGS होगा. So I don't know how it came up. But you started it तब alone. तब तक senior आपकी convince अभी भी नहीं हुए. नहीं. So funny thing, when I was at Hungama, right, I had this intuition that मेरा कुछ यहाँ पे growth नहीं होने वाला. So because the hike was very low. So I convinced my friend, my senior, by that time, like 3 to 4 months before that, I convinced him, and we made a game. Achha. Yeah, we made a flash game side by side, just online, right? तो वो ठाणे में रहता था, and I used to live in Bandup. So हम लोगों ने online बना लिया था game. By the time I was quitting, the game was ready. Okay. And I was in Hungama. I created the domain. And I just sent that game to a company. And right there in Hungama, I sold it. You sold the game also? Yeah, I sold it in Hungama only. So I was getting, I'll talk about the numbers only later. I was getting... I want to know, numbers so you come to, but ये भी आप समझाना, because I'm sure people don't know, at least I don't know, I'm very inquisitive.
आप गेम बनाते हो तो उस गेम को मोनेटाइज कैसे करते हैं, राइट? पैसे कैसे बनते हैं और क्या तरीके होते हैं? लाइक गेम बना दी, व्हाट हैपेंस आफ्टर?
सो देयर आर डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज ऑफ गेम्स. जब मैं अभी सबसे पहले मैं सर्विसिंग की बात करता हूँ, बिकॉज माई मॉडल वाज सर्विसिंग. कि किसी बड़े कंपनी को गेम बनाना है, इट विल कम टू मी एंड दे विल टेल मी अ कॉन्सेप्ट नोट. एक सिंपल कॉन्सेप्ट नोट होता है, आई विल मेक अ GDD एंड आई विल मेक अ गेम ऑन इट.
ठीक है,
दे विल पे मी, सिंपल.
वो आपको पैसे देंगे गेम बनाने के लिए फॉर देम, दिस इज देयर कॉन्सेप्ट.
तो गेम गोज टू देम, IP इज देयर, सब कुछ उनका है.
हां, सो यू सेल द गेम टू देम.
या वी जस्ट वर्क फॉर हायर बोल सकते हैं आप उसे. B2B है वो.
B2B है. हां.
B2C इज वेयर यू मेक गेम्स फॉर योरसेल्फ.
ओके,
राइट. सो आप गेम बना रहे हो, आप प्रोडक्ट पे बिलीव करते हो. आपने गेम बनाया, फिर आप सोच रहे हो कि उससे मोनेटाइजेशन का वेज क्या है. तो गेम्स भी अलग अलग कैटेगरीज के हैं. सो इफ यू आर सेल्फ पब्लिशिंग इट, then there is a great plan that you need to build around it. If you are looking at a publisher, तो आप एक vertical slice तक लेके जाओ उसे, एक level तक लेके जाओ जहाँ पे गेम का विजन समझ में आ जाए सामने वाले को, and then you sell it to a publisher. IP आपका रहता है, publisher उसको publish करता है. It's as good as a book that you do, right? But उसमें again वो गेम प्रीमियम है, यानी सीधा परचेज करके लोग खेल रहे हैं, या वो गेम फ्री टू प्ले है. तो मैं आपको गेम की कैटेगरीज बताता हूँ एकदम सिंपल करने के लिए. पहला होता है फ्री टू प्ले गेम. दूसरा होता है फ्रीमियम गेम. फ्रीमियम इट्स अ मिक्स ऑफ प्रीमियम एंड फ्री. एंड द थर्ड इज अ प्रीमियम गेम विच इज अ पेड गेम. फ्री टू प्ले जो होता है ना, वो डाउनलोड करने के लिए फ्री होता है, एंड उसमें कुछ ऐसी चीजें होती है जो आप परचेज कर सकते हो.
फॉर एग्जाम्पल
जैसे एड्स फ्री करना है मुझे गेम को, तो मुझे वो $1 दे के गेम को एड्स फ्री करना है. मतलब ऐसी चीजें होती है, इन गेम परचेजेस. बट चीजें ऐसी होती है जो डिपेंडेंट नहीं होती गेम के प्रोग्रेस पे.
अंडरस्टूड.
जैसे बैटल पास मिल जाएगा आपको, तो ये फ्री टू प्ले है. अब फ्री टू प्ले के बाद होता है फ्रीमियम, जो एक्चुअली उसका सब कैटेगरी है. बट फ्रीमियम में सेम चीज है, फ्री टू डाउनलोड. एक छोटी सी डिफरेंस है उसमें कि उसका प्रोग्रेस जो है ना, वो आपके इन ऐप परचेजेस पे डिपेंड करता है. तो फॉर एग्जांपल इन कैंडी क्रश आपको लाइफ लेनी पड़ती है. कुछ गेम्स ऐसे होते हैं जिसमें आपको आगे का चैप्टर अनलॉक करने के लिए,
go to the next level to unlock you have to purchase.
That's a simple difference, फ्री टू प्ले और फ्रीमियम में. अब ये दोनों में आप मोनेटाइज कर सकते हो एड्स से, और आप मोनेटाइज कर सकते हो इन ऐप परचेजेस से.
ठीक है,
ये दो ही है कैटेगरीज. तो एड्स बेसिकली जैसे हम वेबसाइट बना के एडसेंस डालते हैं उसमें, उसी तरह गेम्स के लिए
ब्लॉग्स पे भी चलती है.
एडसेंस होता है ना गूगल का, तो इसमें एड मॉब होता है.
एड मॉब,
हाँ. और अलग और बहुत सारे 40-50 कंपनीज हैं जो सेम एड नेटवर्क्स प्रोवाइड करते हैं. तो आप सिर्फ उनका SDK आपके गेम में डाल के उसको वो पर्टिकुलर टाइम पे कॉल करोगे, तो वहाँ पे वो जिन एड्स को सर्व कर रहे हैं वो यहाँ पे दिख जाएंगे. सो वो eCPM रेट्स के हिसाब से आपको मिल जाते हैं पैसे. सो दैट्स एड्स मोनेटाइजेशन. एंड देन इन ऐप परचेजेस लाइक यू सीधा पे थ्रू UPI और क्रेडिट कार्ड्स जो भी है. द थर्ड इज द प्रीमियम गेम, जो सीधा फ्लैट फीस पे होता है.
कैन यू गिव एन एग्जांपल ऑफ एनी प्रीमियम?
आप PC गेम्स कोई भी ले लो, कोई भी PC गेम लो जो से $20 में मिलता है, $10 में मिल रहा है, $5 में मिल रहा है.
GTA तो was free to play नहीं.
GTA is a 5,000. Yeah, it is 5,000 rupees.
So will it come in this category?
It's a premium game. It's a
right?
proper premium game. कोई भी ऐसे बड़े जो भी कंसोल गेम्स है या फिर PC गेम्स है, वो सारे प्रीमियम गेम्स है. उसमें ये होता है कि जो प्लेटफॉर्म है, जैसे कंप्यूटर गेम्स के लिए स्टीम होता है, कंसोल के लिए प्लेस्टेशन का स्टोर है, Xbox के लिए Xbox का स्टोर है, वैसे मोबाइल के लिए एप्पल ऐप स्टोर है या गूगल प्ले स्टोर है. ये लोग प्रीमियम गेम्स में परसेंटेज ले लेते हैं. 20-30% goes to them.
To whom?
To the platform.
To the platform.
Yeah. So if you are a consumer, I am a game developer.
Correct.
मैंने मेरा गेम $10 के लिए अगर रखा है, और if you want to buy that game, तो आप खरीदोगे, $10 पे करोगे, $7 comes to me, $3 will go to the platform. So
that's a commission based.
Yeah. So वो प्रीमियम मॉडल होता है. ओवरऑल पैसा इसी से बनता है. बट फ्री टू प्ले और फ्रीमियम गेम्स में यूजुअली ऐसा भी होता है कि बहुत ब्रांड डील्स भी हो सकती है. Like there are elements जो आप किसी brands के साथ type
करके you can
integrate it in it. But again, for that your IP needs to be very strong.
Very strong. So when you sold your game,
so my was like B2B. हाँ, तो B2C मैं ये सारी चीजें मैंने B2C.
But आप B2B कर रहे थे.
B2B कर रहा था. तो मैं जब भी हंगामा में था, I was making around 16,000 rupees. वो टाइम पे. After even 4 years of my career, I was only making 16,000.
Bhai, they were underpaying so much.
Yeah.
I must say.
Yeah. And that's what, no? 4 साल पहले मेरे friends were making 30,000. I was convinced. I think I was just sold off to the idea of.
You had that conviction that the day will come.
Yeah, the day will come. Yeah, the day will come. Even today, I know what the future looks like. Yeah.
You're going to be hogi already, but I'm very sure you'll make a lot of money.
Yeah, I hope so. But the thing is, I was making 16,000 rupees. Or thoda, I would call I'm blessed. Somewhere I'm blessed with, with a vision that I see things really clear. कि आगे मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ.
You have a foresight.
Yeah, that is there. तो वो गेम बना के रखा था for this same situation कि मुझे unfortunately quit करना पड़ा अगर ये हंगामा से, then I'll take up this because वो टाइम पे I was not 100% sure कि मुझे आज ही start करना है. Because I was also getting some international job offers at that time. Because India के बाहर गेमिंग बहुत बड़ा था. But again, being from a middle class family, I am a very family person. So I always wanted to be with my family. Even today, like I don't think I would. I was like, what do you call it? I'm homesick. I can't live more than 8 days away from my home. I can't. So when I decided that मुझे करना है, right? तो game ready था. I sold it to one of the companies. I sold it for 1 lakh. So for me it was like 5 times the money.
Yeah.
So no brainer था ना.
True.
तो I was like कि अभी तो
करते.
मैंने यहाँ पे sell किया and I wrote a resignation letter. I gave it to Hungama. And what happened was, it was like a 30 days ka notice period, right? And the moment I sold it, my senior he was sold with the idea of कि boss ये बोल रहा था इसमें थोड़ा है कुछ पैसा है इसमें कुछ. So the next day I created the complete website.
Acha.
Like the complete website was ready.
My God.
And obviously I had to put some things which were not really true.
Yeah.
But you have to portray something about your company, right? So so what I did was the website was ready, and fortunately the people who bought my game, they somehow liked the website, and they somehow got this idea that we are really cool folks from Mumbai who can make great games. So they called us for a meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, so I sent my friend to the meeting, and my elder brother, he was also involved into the process of building underDOGS.
You didn't go, you also
I didn't go.
You didn't go, why?
Because I was working in a company, I had a lot of limitations at that time.
Yeah.
Also, the people from that company knew me.
This is after quitting Hungama or before?
I was in Hungama.
You were in Hungama.
I gave the resignation. My notice period was
still going on.
Was going on. So I sent them, and they came back and said they gave us 2 more games.
Wow.
So the challenge was they wanted to make a mobile game, and this was 2011.
Right.
Very early for mobile.
For mobile.
And nobody in India were actually doing 3D mobile games, like big 3D mobile games. And my friend was like a maniac. He was a genius. If you give him something, he'll crack it in a day or 2. Even if he has not seen, उसने देखा भी नहीं होगा पूरी जिंदगी में, he'll figure out. He was that good. So they gave us 2 games, and they told us that they also want to make a mobile game. So there was a script that my friend actually, I gave him a script that he told them that the mobile team is quite busy and we actually want to finish our prior commitments and then we'll take up the mobile game. Because we also wanted to play safe, right? We didn't want to get into a lot of stuff which we couldn't handle.
Couldn't deliver also. Yeah.
So it was a नेक ख्याल था, ऐसा कोई scam नहीं था.
Scam नहीं था.
So.
पर वो 2 games आपने बनाई उनके लिए.
Yeah. So the thing is, I was in a notice period, right? And 2 games were to be made. So this was my daily routine for next 30 days. I used to get up at 9. I used to reach Hungama at say around 10:30. I used to leave by 5:36. I used to come back at 7. From 8 p.m. to morning 4 a.m. Me and my friend used to sit and make games. So my father, who had a workshop, he actually gave us like a very small, like this portion of it. So I just put some plywoods around it because my father's factory, it's a factory. It's a mechanical workshop. Every 5 seconds you'll hear a bang of that press, the iron lokhand machine. So I did that, and me and my friend from 8 p.m. to morning 4 a.m. we used to make games. So we made 2 games for them. So I used to come back home at 4:30, sleep for 3-4 hours and go back to Hungama. In that period, this guy also learned how to make a mobile game.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that's how the whole journey started, and then slowly we grew. Right. We hired a few more people.
Yeah. Vaibhav, like you just shared, this entire story and everything is making sense now, right?
Yeah.
Sold 1 game, then you got, another 2 to be made, then the mobile game.
Yeah.
Your partner learned building a mobile game also in that period.
Yeah.
Like me, from here, now when you've understood कि कुछ काम आना start हो गया and you've understood भाई we can make money out of this, there is scope, there's potential. Then what was the vision? How did you get started with probably getting help for yourself, because right now it was just you and your partner. What were the early hirings like for you, right? And then from being on the other side of the table, jahan pe you're working for somebody, to now having people to work for you. How was that transition of getting into entrepreneurship?
Yeah. So I think like everything has a weird story only. I picked up those two, three projects, and then I got a lot of work from Games to Win also. So
Games to Win also gave you work.
Yeah. Nice. So because I've made those contacts and network, no?
Right.
So I've made games for Hungama, Games to Win, Zapak, Reliance Games, all of those. So the early years, 3 years, I was into making these games only.
Correct.
But immediately after I quit, after the 30 days ka period, I think 9 September was my last day at Hungama, and 11 September was the start of underDOGS. So I officially started it. But I immediately got a lot of projects.
Okay.
Probably 3-4 more games quickly.
That's where you think that networking came to use, jo aapne ki thi?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the connections you had built.
Absolutely.
Because first few projects, I feel it comes from your close group only.
Yeah. तो जब वो हुआ तो I felt a need, because I only used to design and I used to make art also for the games. So I felt a need कि मुझे एक artist की ज़रूरत है. So again, I didn't have lot of money to actually put in on the people. Also मेरा जो studio था उसमें मेरा senior तो, in fact my senior joined full time.
अच्छा.
Yeah, he joined.
He also quit.
Yeah, he was not working. He was a freelancer.
Oh. Okay.
After that software company, he was a freelancer.
What?
So then he was working for me. So.
Seniors.
Yeah. So I wanted to hire an artist, right? So the place was messy, and he was convinced, but I was not sure कि और कोई कर पाएगा भी नहीं ये जगह में. So I just I live in Bhandup. So I went to one of a local institute in Bhandup itself. Okay. जो छोटे से आर्ट के इंस्टीट्यूट होते हैं ना, NIDT, something like that, right? जहाँ पे सिर्फ सॉफ्टवेयर टूल्स सिखाते. तो I went there and I told them, I gave them a card and I told them, send me the best guy that you have, best student that you have. So they sent a guy. This is 2011.
Right.
He's my co-founder today.
Wow. What a journey, huh?
Yeah. So he started as an artist. He
You
started.
hired him as an intern or something?
No. I hired him as an artist. Proper artist.
Huh.
I was able to give him 7,000 per month at that time. But he grew. He's fabulous. He has done everything for the company. So he owns equity in the company today.
Yeah, that's why he's the co-founder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But I think that journey very few people can have, right? To join at the beginning. A lot of people see the beginning of a company, but very few stay there till the end. Right?
In fact, the senior that I told you about, right? 3 or 4 years later, he also quit because then he got married and he needed money and all that stuff. And there are valid reasons that he had.
Right.
But this guy is a hustler. I hired 2 artists. One was this guy. The other was a friend of a friend who just came in and just on the same date.
Achha, same date.
On the same date. He's also with us today.
Wow.
But he's a top senior level artist. He's not on the management side.
Correct.
Because the other guy is more into the managerial stuff also. He loves it and he has dedicated his life to the company.
Yeah.
So that happened, right? So, and you rightly said कि वो बहुत कम लोगों में होता है.
True.
And over the period of these years, ना मैंने भी, like, if you ask me one thing which I learned, I think people management and relationship building is something that I keep on priority. My company does not have a hierarchy.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a flat structure?
Yeah, it's a flat structure. You will see, so I have 15 people. We have 15, right? 15 people. Mix of content, leadership, artists, game design, programmers. During lunchtime, you'll see a scenario of a school lunch. जब वो डब्बे खुलते हैं और सब लोग हाथ डाल के 1.5 मिनट में डब्बा खत्म हो जाता है. That kind of culture we have.
Right.
You'll not see people, the co-founders, not interacting with the people. For sitting in a cabin and eating their lunches, nothing.
But do you also think that changes when the size of the company grows?
It does.
It does?
It does. There is a limit to how many people one man can manage.
So tomorrow, if you think 15 से 30 होंगे, will it change? How do you ensure then that it doesn't change as a leader?
See, I think frequent conversations that we do, right, with people, we make sure that there is enough healthy relationship between us. We do a lot of stuff which is other than work.
Non-work related.
Yeah. Every time, like once we finish the lunch, there's a session of FIFA that we do compulsory. Either we play Counter-Strike or FIFA every day. We do trips. We do turf cricket.
Yeah.
There is a lot of, and one thing, I don't know if I should say this, but it's an all boys company. Like unfortunately, fortunately, I don't know. But see, we didn't.
I'm sure there is very less female representation in almost every field. इसमें तो और भी कम है वो तो, that's a fact, right?
Yeah.
It's a fact. I'm sure it's very difficult to also get talent.
Yeah. And the thing is, see, my DNA specifically of how I'm building this company is, if you'll see, 80% of them are non-graduates.
80% are non-graduates?
Undergraduates.
Ah.
These are people who are passionate about what they do. And they do it beautifully.
Yeah.
Undergraduates, then you'll see 60-70% of them today at a senior position who started as interns. So when interns join us, right, we try to, more than the technical skills, we try to build their soft skills
and groom them actually.
Yeah. That eventually helps the company. So वैसे हुआ है company में, and that is one of the reasons why we have more boys here, because it's a long hustle journey, to be very honest. There are very few people who actually can stick to it.
You have to be all in, na? Across a long period of time.
And sometimes I'm not, generalizing it as such, but it might get difficult for
for a
female to actually spend more hours.
Yeah, that kind of grind, that hustle, because a lot of events happen wherein then a woman has to
correct
kind of deviate from
correct.
I understand. So tell me one more thing, Vaibhav. When you started building the company, and dheere I'm sure you would have worked on better, bigger games, more complex projects. Then that conflict resolution, also handling bigger clients is difficult, right? Getting a big client is great. You make more money. The team is motivated. But any such challenge in the early days, jo aapko yaad hai, where you felt like it was a very difficult situation or problem, wherein you felt that if at that time you hadn't taken that step, there was not a certain way the team had reacted or taken care of it, it could have all gone down the lane. So any such challenging situation, and what do you think was useful in those time of crisis? Because I'm sure just developing a game and delivering it is not as easy as it sounds.
So, there are situations, there are a lot of those situations. So 2011 we started. 2000 till 2014 we made roughly 35 games for all the clients. One of the biggest games that we made till that time was Games to Win Sparking Frenzy. We made the mobile version.
You made the mobile gaming version. Okay.
5 of us sitting in an isolated place, and we built that beautiful game.
Nice.
But during that time, right, we had this confidence of building our own games also, because while we were working with Games to Win,
right, so other than making it for us, but your own independent
because we learned, right, with Games to Win we learned how to publish a game as well.
Correct.
Because uske pehle tak publishing
you couldn't
tha nahi hamare isme. So we thought we could also do this. We can also make our own games, at least not as big as Sparking Frenzy, but chote bhi bana sakte hain. So then we started working on our own games as well. And in 2015 was a breakthrough for us, which was Skatelander.
Okay.
One of the games that we built went big for us. Skatelander actually was one of the first few games from India which got featured on Apple and Google Play Store in more than 130 countries.
I've heard of the name also. I may have not played because but I've heard of Skatelander.
So it's again one of the first few companies which got an international publisher. So Skatelander gave us name, fame, helped us convert this small studio into a professional company. वो जब Skatelander चला ना, then the B2B flew in like crazy.
Do you also make money by the game का downloads?
No. Downloads does not even matter.
Does not have any impact for anybody.
Anybody.
Okay.
There are a few other things that matter. जैसे retention होता है.
Achha, how long is a person?
No, how many days is coming back to the
game?
Retention is one of the most important factors आपके game में.
Okay.
So once Skatelander happened, a lot of B2B came in. तो उसमें ना all the tier 1 kind of clients came in. तो हमें Mercedes Benz आया था.
Wow.
So we were in.
Why did they want to make a game?
They actually, it was a very, when you spoke about this, I felt nostalgic about that feeling of that fear of not delivering it on time. Because this was Mercedes Benz.
Correct.
And Mercedes Benz was not looking for a game. वो लोग actually Mercedes Benz was making autonomous cars. है ना, तो उनका AI system था.
अच्छा.
And वो लोग जर्मनी में उससे टेस्ट कर रहे थे proper with the whole system and all. इंडिया की जो टीम थी Mercedes Benz की, उन्हें एक POC बनाना था.
Okay.
एक proof of concept से दिखाने के लिए जर्मनी के ब्रांच.
किस चीज का था वो POC?
Of an AI system of a car which tracks Indian roads system.
Okay.
So it was a simulation.
But
in simple words.
That is something a gaming studio also takes care of, like.
No.
That capability do you have?
Yeah, capability, it's overlap. It's almost an overlap.
Okay.
तो मॉड्यूल ऐसा था, इट्स अ सिमुलेशन, ठीक है. अब if you compare the AI with the German roads and Indian roads ना, तो जर्मनी में वो लोग 4 मीटर का डिस्टेंस छोड़ के गाड़ी चलाते हैं, यहाँ पे 4 सेंटीमीटर का है.
वो भी
या तो their AI basically, और ये उनका एक केस स्टडी था जिसपे वो लोग काम कर रहे थे. Their AI went mad when they tested the numbers with India. क्योंकि जो ड्राइविंग रैश ड्राइविंग स्किल्स एंड एवरीथिंग दैट इंडिया हैज नो वो कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट है वहाँ के लर्निंग से. So they just wanted to do a simulation जहाँ पे we make a road, have a central car and put a random traffic from an Indian point of view, Indian driving perspective. तो वहाँ पे हम लोगों ने बहुत सारे parameters डाले थे, zigzag driving है, and all of these are NPCs, non-playable characters. So ये AI है, so जो सिर्फ आपके parameters के basis पे चलता है. And the central's AI actually calculates the whole data.
Okay.
And every second it's just passing a lot of data to the system. तो उन्हें बस वो चाहिए था.
ठीक है.
That project was a nightmare for us because it was like right in the middle of that project हमारा जो एक मेन कोडर था वो क्विट करके चला गया था.
अरे. And
कंपनी बैंगलोर में था. So हमें यहाँ से बैंगलोर 7-8 बार हम लोग यहाँ से बैंगलोर गए थे.
Okay.
Just to deploy that over there. तो वो पूरे जर्नी में ही बहुत हसल था. इनफैक्ट we used to sleep on the airport only because सुबह जाओ और शाम को निकलो वो टाइप्स काम हो रहा था. But fortunately by the end of it, but I was not really sure कि उसको खत्म करें. But I really felt that nostalgia when you mentioned.
But you delivered it finally.
Yeah. See, one of the learnings that I have from that one project is you really need to keep your calm yourself as a leader. Yeah. But you also have to keep your team motivated on what they are doing. That's the biggest learning that I got from it.
True.
As a person, I was not this calm before. I was a very aggressive guy, but the journey of underdogs has taught me a lot of things. Yeah.
True. Very interesting. I think with that, Vaibhav, tell me this also, ki what role, I also see you have a YouTube channel, you are very active on LinkedIn, you have your own podcast also today, but on YouTube there are over 300 plus videos that you have published. It takes a lot of consistency and dedication and persistence, especially on YouTube because it's long form content. When did you realize आप company बना रहे हो, it's so intense, you're selling games, creating your own independent games, it's such a creative job anyways.
Right.
इस सब के बीच में where did this thought even come to your mind कि चलो content भी बनाते हैं, YouTube करते हैं?
Yeah. So primarily it was all CRM. Like I just wanted to give it to the community. Because जो problems मैं face कर रहा था 2005, 6, 7 में, while I wanted to get into the gaming industry. वो मुझे तब भी दिख रहे थे. 2018 में मैंने 2018 में मैंने YouTube चैनल स्टार्ट किया था. बट उस टाइम पे भी मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम दिख रही थी कि लोगों को पता ही नहीं, बेसिक्स ही नहीं पता.
मुझे लगता है अभी
भी है. यस, एग्जैक्टली.
अनफॉर्चुनेट बट है.
यू आर राइट. तो वो टाइम पे मेरा होल ऑब्जेक्टिव ये था कि मैं गेम्स बना रहा हूँ. आई एम हैप्पी, आई एम डूइंग माय जॉब एंड आई एम वेरी सेटिस्फाइड. Maybe I'll just use some terms and just put it on YouTube for free so that people just learn. जैसे App Store optimization क्या होता है, game design क्या है, game art क्या है. मैं
And you would sit down and make those long.
Yeah, I had enough space and I went like 5 मिनट में मुझे सिर्फ बोलना था. I was not even concerned about editing and all that stuff.
Yeah, you were just sharing what you knew.
Yeah. और मेरा ऐसा विजन नहीं था कि मैं उससे YouTube चैनल बनाऊंगा या फिर ये. But this one thing that I mentioned earlier also ना कि एक foresight था हमेशा. तो वो टाइम पे ना I had this one thing in my head very clear कि आगे जाके personal branding is going to be a big thing. And I remember I kept telling people about this, that do anything you can but come on social media and do something about it. Whatever you're doing, just put it on. So my idea was that I was also following Gary Vee a lot at that time. तो वो पता नहीं, पता नहीं वो इंडिया में वो टाइम पे ब्रेक थ्रू हो गया था. Gary Vee somehow entered India. So I used to see his videos a lot. तो personal branding somehow stuck to me. And then जब मैंने स्टार्ट किया था without having that intention of personal branding.
Correct.
But जैसे वो पिक होने लगा, I felt connected to the people because people started talking to me. Like funny thing is मैंने ऐसा वीडियो बनाया था, what is App Store optimization, and that was purely in English. उस वीडियो के नीचे कमेंट में ऐसे आ रहा है लोगों का, भैया गेम कैसे बनाते हैं. सो आई रियलाइज कि बॉस प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे है ही नहीं, प्रॉब्लम तो यहाँ पे है.
हाँ.
और वो भी हिंदी में करना जरूरी है.
करेक्ट.
लोगों को पता है आप शुड ऑप्टिमाइजेशन कब करेंगे लोग, जब गेम
बनाना. तो हाँ.
तो मैंने बेसिक से चालू किया एंड देन मैंने हिंदी में बोलना चालू कर दिया. और गेम कैसे बनता है, कॉलेजेस कौन से हैं, सब ये. तो पीपल, आई फेल्ट रियली कनेक्टेड विद ऑल दीज पीपल बिकॉज दे यूज्ड टू ask me on all these queries.
So been a very engaged community then, yeah.
Right now, I think I have more than 550 videos on that channel.
Yeah.
But soon after that, when I realized personal branding is something that is picking up,
right.
2019 I started a podcast. Again, that was that was also very early.
I started 5 months, 6 months back.
Yeah, so I'm saying no, मुझे
you've always known what will blow up in the next 5-6 years.
That unfortunately didn't work because COVID came in and I shot like 6 episodes with that proper setup and everything.
Yeah.
Now I just made those videos private because of this gaming podcast. And I want to focus on that. But COVID आया तो फिर online हो गया सब, and online podcast is no fun. At least I feel
I
that.
also feel so.
Yeah, so then the personal branding thing started. But motivation is that one that I told you, the relatability and that connect that I'm feeling with the people. That I feel is my number one reason. The second is obviously I'm building a personal brand. Because today we are building a game which is a really impactful game. We're building a game called Mukti.
Yeah.
It's a first-person exploration game.
Okay.
It's based on human trafficking.
Oh.
It's a very dark subject. So I and my co-founder, the same guy that I hired in 2011, we wrote the first draft of this game back in 2018. And we couldn't make this game. We couldn't go into production with this game for a long time. Last year, Sony PlayStation came to India. We pitched that game to them.
Oh wow!
And out of 400 applications, we won the India Hero project.
Amazing.
Yeah. So the
subject is very obviously people are. I think the subject is very impactful and it's needed also.
So I don't know. I don't know if I am, but I believe I'm a decent storyteller.
Yeah.
One of the reasons is, again, this is one of the phase of my journey. I have done theatre.
Acha.
Yeah, so I've done theatre for 12 years of my life. While I was,
see, this you didn't have.
Yeah, while I was doing all these things.
Yeah.
And it also did fairly well for me. I think I did like 6-7 plays in Marathi and English also. One of that play called E equals to MC square was a major hit.
Okay.
Ran for 3 years.
Wow.
We won like around 60 state level awards for that.
Wow.
So I directed that play and I acted as Albert Einstein in that.
In that play?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was damn good.
Do you think you doing theatre helped you in gaming as well?
Absolutely.
What elements of it are like transferable?
It's storytelling.
Pura.
See, I don't remember the name of this one director, but he's a director who directs plays on theatre, right? He's a very senior. I don't think he's even alive today.
Okay.
But this is one of his quotes that he said that it is very easy to show a moon in a film, right? You just focus on the moon and it's done. It's a challenge for you to show a moon in theatre when you don't see a moon. So that is storytelling, right?
True.
And it's static audience and a static frame.
True.
Still people see the moon. That is storytelling, right? Somehow I think that has affected positively me in my personal life also. Sometimes people get really bored of when I open my mouth because because I have a tendency, and I'm not ashamed of it, honestly. I have a tendency to put the beats in a story and take it to a climax. Even if it's
पूरा बढ़ा के उसको
even if it's a very nonsense
thing,
story,
I get it.
I feel I do that, and in fact my wife is very angry about it every time when I open my mouth about it. कि तू end बता रहे I mean, like the whole world wants to listen
You
to my
want
story.
to tell that story.
Yeah.
आपको पूरा वो पूरे के साथ emotion
Also I'm like, bro, the whole community wants to listen to my story, and you're cutting down to my climax. So that's a very sad part, but that's something that theater really taught me.
you.
Another thing is, I remember the very first time I did my first play. I went on stage and I went blank. Like when you perform a dance, right? You still have some lights in the audience.
Right.
You see the people and you see them enjoying. In theater, you don't see anyone.
Why?
You're on stage.
तो दिखते नहीं है
नहीं. It's all dark. The spot is on you.
अच्छा हाँ तो ऑडियंस की तरफ लाइट
नहीं होता. So you don't see people.
Okay.
The spot is on you, and the silence is very dangerous because the first thing people and you hear is you talking.
True.
So the
focus is on you.
The challenge is to bring that first laughter or a clap, and then you go mad. Then you go crazy.
flow.
But that is I feel theater से बड़ा कोई नशा है ही नहीं. That's like a different world. That thing has given me a lot of my life. जैसे I don't know if you heard Puladesh Pandey, who's one of the greatest literature from Marathi thing, right? So उन्होंने एक बात कही थी, very beautiful line. What he said was कि आपके रोजगारी जॉब का जो भी आप करते हो प्रोफेशन में, वो जब भी आप कर रहे हो तो उसके साथ कला जो है उसका कुछ ना कुछ आप कंटिन्यू रखो. बीट डांस, बीट सिंगिंग, कोई भी इंस्ट्रूमेंट बजाना हो, हैव सम पार्ट ऑफ आर्ट इन योर लाइफ. बिकॉज द रीजन इज कि जो आपकी रोजगारी है ना, वो आपको जीने में हेल्प करेगी, पेट भरेगी, आपको जीने में हेल्प करेगी. कला है ना, आपको सिखाएगी आपको जीना क्यों है. That's a beautiful line. So theater has given me a lot in terms of, and that the blank that I mentioned, right? The fear of speaking to people went away.
To a large audience or addressing them.
Yeah, it went away.
Yeah.
After theater. So that has helped a lot.
Very interesting. So podcast you started in 2019.
Yeah, I did.
That didn't work out because of the pandemic and situation.
6 episodes were great. People loved it. I
So
just couldn't continue.
डाले भी थे, but now it's unlisted.
Yeah, I just couldn't continue.
Right.
Because it was a setup based thing, and then after COVID, कैसे COVID में सारे gaming companies सिर्फ struggle ही कर रहे थे.
Yeah, true.
Games चल रहे थे, but हमारे भी सामने बहुत सारी कंपनीज शट हो चुकी थी कोविड में. कोविड का गेम सिर्फ इतना था कि सर्वाइव करो. सो वी वर मेकिंग हाइपर कैजुअल गेम्स एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ. सो अगला 1 साल तो हमें लग गया टू फिक्स थिंग्स एंड देन बट कमिंग बैक टू दिस गेम दैट आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट, Sony actually, Mukti. Sony actually has funded the whole game.
Wow.
So we'll soon announce the release date of the game also.
Right.
But it's a one-of-a-kind game that you might see from India, right, in terms of the story to the visual quality. I don't think people have seen that in India, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, not in India. I would say any gaming company in India have not created that
like that
kind of visuals.
It's
yet.
a mobile game?
No, it's a PC
game.
PlayStation 5
PlayStation 5 game.
So that is under development right now.
Nice.
My personal branding angle comes from that point of view also. That I actually want this message to be spread to a much bigger, wider audience.
Yeah.
So because the game is about human trafficking, India mein, the biggest impact, if you consider a few top countries, India उसमें है, बट इंडिया उतनी सीरियसली उसको ले भी नहीं
लेते
रहा
नहीं है, हाँ.
इफ यू सी वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज दे आर वेरी सीरियस अबाउट दीज टॉपिक्स ऑल्सो बट the game, I think one of the reasons why it has been validated by Sony also is because of the subject, and the second thing is the backdrop of the game. The whole backdrop is in India.
Oh.
So global gaming audience right now, अभी I think वो लोग saturate हो चुके हैं because उन्होंने सारे games में अमेरिका, यूरोप ऐसे backdrops देखे हैं. So that's the reason आपको पिछले 3-4 साल में जापानीज गेम्स बहुत दिखेंगे. इस साल ब्लैक मिथ वुकोंग आया, वो भी चाइना बेस्ड गेम है. That is one of the reasons that Sony has validated कि India backdrop is because this is based in an Indian museum itself.
So the setting is also from India.
In museum.
Nice.
हाँ, तो there are a lot of artifacts and stuff and puzzles around those artifacts. It's very
interesting.
Yeah, so I want to spread that.
Lovely. Since you've built so many games, sold so many games, now you're creating and developing such high impact games. वो मुझे एक बात बताओ, what is the difference between a gaming studio or gaming company creating the same game, everything same in India versus let's say the US?
Yeah.
Difference क्या है?
See, US, to be very honest, is US and China both 5 साल आगे हैं हमसे.
है.
Yeah. Honestly, they are. बिकॉज आज अभी हम लोग जो गेम बना रहे हैं इट्स अ स्टेपिंग स्टोन फॉर अस टू मेक अ AAA गेम इन नेक्स्ट 5 years. हमारे गेम का स्कोप छोटा है. इट्स अ 7
explain what's a AAA game?
AAA गेम अगेन मैंने आज ही वीडियो पोस्ट किया है जस्ट आज. इट्स अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन एन इंडी एन इंडी गेम, अ AA गेम एंड अ AAA गेम.
ओके.
सो क्लियर डिफरेंस ऐसा होता है कि कोई डेफिनेशन नहीं है उसकी. किसी ने ऐसी कोई डेफिनेशन लिखी नहीं है कि आप बोल सकते हो. बट इंडी गेम और AAA गेम को सिंप्लीफाई अगर मैं करूँ तो AAA का बजट बड़ा होता है.
ठीक है.
टीम बड़ी होती है. मोर देन 50 people यूजुअली वर्क ऑन दैट. डेवलपमेंट टाइम फ्रेम बहुत बड़ा होता है, 5 से 10 साल.
5 से 10 साल.
हाँ. GTA अभी यू सी नो 13 years. GTA 5 के बाद अभी 13 years बाद अभी आ रहा है. Witcher and all 8 years they took. AA games probably 4 to 6 years. Indie games 3 months to 3 years ऐसा कुछ लगता है. But AAA का बजट ज़्यादा होता है, लोग ज़्यादा होते हैं, गेम्स भी कमर्शियल ज़्यादा होते हैं, ब्रॉडर मास ऑडियंस के लिए होते हैं. इंडी गेम्स एक्सपेरिमेंटल होते हैं, वो स्पेसिफिक ऑडियंस को पसंद आएंगे.
So Mukti will be what
Mukti
category?
is an indie game.
Is an indie game.
It will the target audience is people who love exploration games. अगर आप काउंटर स्ट्राइक खेलते हो तो काउंटर स्ट्राइक में आप क्या शिफ्ट दबा के भागते हो, राइट? तो आप यहाँ से वहाँ 2 सेकंड में पहुँच जाओगे. एक्सप्लोरेशन गेम्स में इसी पाथ में आपको 4 ऐसी चीज़ें गिरी हुई मिलेंगी जो आपको उठाकर कुछ सीखने मिलेगा.
करेक्ट.
सीखने इन द सेंस यू बिल्ड अ कैरेक्टर. आप किस कैरेक्टर के बारे में जो बात कर रहे हो वो कैरेक्टर आप बिल्ड कर रहे हो अपने दिमाग में. एक्सप्लोरेशन गेम्स वो होते हैं जो लोग बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम स्पेंड करते हैं उसमें. इट इज़ नॉट फॉर एवरीबॉडी.
नॉट फॉर एवरीवन. गॉट इट.
एंड मार्केटिंग बजट बहुत होता है इनका. कुछ नहीं, इट्स डेफिनेशन ऑफ सेग्रीगेशन है. इंडी गेम्स आर सेल्फ पब्लिश्ड, छोटे होते हैं, 2, 3, 4 घंटे के होते हैं.
Whose responsibility is it in general to market a game once it's out in the market? कौन करता है?
See, for bigger companies, for AAA, there is a complete marketing
team and everything
massive
is deployed.
Massive marketing. If you know the example, अभी Spider-Man जब भी रिलीज हुआ था, मुंबई के सारे मेट्रोज जो है उस पे Spider-Man का पोस्टर्स था.
Hoardings, yeah.
So bigger studios have that. Independent studios, indie studios usually personal branding.
That's where personal branding also becomes important. To obviously just make it reach more numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got it. So while we come a little bit towards the end of the conversation, I have 2-3 last questions for you, Vaibhav.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people watching this podcast are aspiring to get into the gaming industry, whether it is them wanting to become a game designer, developer, producer or artist, like you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
जो उनको इस podcast से समझ में आया होगा. Today, if you want to get educated in this field and get a professional degree, I'm not sure, but is there one? If yes, from where can you get it? Are there certain institutions or colleges that you recommend?
Yeah.
And any other resources that you would like to share with the audience? They could be podcasts, books, YouTube channels.
Yeah.
I don't know, that they should leverage to increase their knowledge to get into the industry.
Yeah. So the Indian gaming industry educational side is really bad, very honestly. मतलब इंजीनियरिंग में ऐसा होता है ना कि आपको इंजीनियर बनना है,
Yes.
तो आप इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में जा सकते हो.
हाँ.
अगर आपको डॉक्टर बनना है तो आप MBBS कॉलेज जा सकते हो.
हाँ.
ऐसा कोई भी कॉलेज नहीं है जहाँ पे आप जाओ और आप गेम डेवलपर बन के बाहर निकलो.
हाँ, वो नहीं है.
वो नहीं है.
नहीं है.
So
आज भी नहीं है.
आज भी नहीं है. मतलब सी देयर आर इंस्टीट्यूट्स हु आर ट्राइंग, बट उनके करिकुलम्स आप देखोगे, इट्स नॉट दैट. आई डोंट पर्सनली रेकमेंड एनीबॉडी, क्योंकि अगेन मेरे चैनल पे तो मैं करता ही नहीं हूँ, बिकॉज देन इट बिकम्स वेरी बायस्ड. समटाइम्स ऐसा हुआ है कि मैंने एक दो को किया भी था. द स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ दोज कॉलेजेस केम बैक टू मी एंड सेड सर शिटी कॉलेज है. So it's bad, right? Like I don't want to be a person जो अगर मैं उसमें पढ़ा होता I could have said more. पर मैं सिर्फ इंटरनेट पे देख के ये नहीं बोल सकता कि ये कॉलेज अच्छा है बुरा. But there is officially no college या इंस्टीट्यूट जिसमें. Good thing is government is doing a lot of things.
Okay.
IIT में भी they have started a course.
Okay.
Now, from the industry itself, there's a person called Rahul Sehgal who has started his own course sort of thing recently.
Where he's coaching people?
Yeah, he does that.
Okay.
Somewhere I think it's still very practical compared to
at least the other traditional.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, there are few bigger institutes that you already know the names of. The art institutes, very big institutes.
I know.
They have their courses which are titled as Diploma in Game Design and Development.
अच्छा है.
But वो अगर आप उसमें एडमिशन लोगे, they'll teach you 3D Max and Maya.
So वो जो आप तब कर रहे थे.
नहीं, but it is nowhere connected to game design and development. Yeah. It's a game art course.
Art course, हाँ, understood.
Even so, the point is, even these bigger institutes have no clue
that they are two different things.
Correct. There are few institutes who say they are specific gaming institutes. Again, I don't want to name them, but they are very prominent. Some in Hyderabad, Bangalore, probably in Pune, but I don't. I have got bad feedback from the students themselves. So, what I would recommend is.
What would you recommend then? Jab that's the kind of situation in India.
Yeah. So very firstly, like I said, right, you need to first analyze what your skill is. अगर आपको पता चल रहा है कि आपकी coding skills अच्छी है, decide you want to become a game developer. Focus on building games yourself, right? तो सबसे पहले अगर मैं एक simple example बताता हूँ कि एक game programmer को क्या करना चाहिए. गेम प्रोग्रामर इंडिया में, बिकॉज वी आर मेकिंग मोबाइल गेम्स अ लॉट, क्योंकि इंडिया में मोबाइल फोन्स ज़्यादा है. हाँ. सो इंडियन कंपनीज वो बना रहे. तो बिकॉज इंडियन कंपनीज मोबाइल गेम्स बना रहे, तो आपको जॉब भी मोबाइल गेम्स के मिलने वाले. ये आप एज्यूम कर लो. अब मोबाइल गेम्स जब बना रहे तो लोग यूनिटी प्रेफर कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि अनरियल इज हैवी. यूनिटी इज अ लाइट वेट टूल जिसके ऊपर, एंड इट्स बेस्ट सूटेड फॉर मोबाइल. तो अब आपको फनल डाउन हो चुका है, आपको यूनिटी पे गेम्स बना रहे हैं, तो आप यूनिटी सेल्फ लर्न करना चालू कर दो एंड डेमोस बनाओ, प्रोटोटाइप्स बनाओ. टू डू दोज यू कैन गेट अ लॉट ऑफ फ्री एक्सेस टू यूनिटी. लर्न करके प्लेटफॉर्म ही है जिसपे सब सर्टिफिकेशंस और मिल जाएंगे आपको. यूडेमी पे, कोर्सेरा पे काफ़ी सारे कोर्सेज है जो बेसिक सबको सिखाते हैं. While you are making these prototypes and demos, you create a portfolio.
And where can they create a portfolio?
It's a simple domain. आप सीधा
simple domain. हाँ,
simplevaibhavchavan.com. You go in that, you create a domain, write about yourself, and put like 5-6 nice demos of your work. क्योंकि गेमिंग इंडस्ट्री उस स्टेज पे है अभी जहाँ पे डिग्री कोई काम की नहीं होने वाली है. Even people, most of the founders from my generation, we don't prefer degrees. आप काम दिखाओ,
हाँ,
we'll take you. तो वो डोमेन, वो जो वेबसाइट है, उसमें आपने अगर 5 अच्छे ब्यूटीफुल बनाए हुए डेमोज डाले, it will give a lot to the interviewer, right? तो वो उस पे काम करो ज़्यादा, and then start looking for internships, maybe fresher level jobs on that. But gaming institute में जाके 5-10 लाख रुपए 20 लाख waste करना plus the years. I know a lot of people जो 4-4 साल के कोर्स करके बैठे हैं, तीसरे साल में पहुंचे हैं, फिर भी they have no clue about Unreal, Unity. वो अभी तक कुछ और ही कर रहे हैं जो उनका काम ही नहीं है. I think self learning is the best. और इतना सब है ना that do not, at least when you are starting, right, do not do it like a primary thing. At least to a point where you are very confident that you can approach companies to get a job.
Correct.
क्योंकि it is a hustle. ये इंडस्ट्री थोड़ा ऐसा है ना that अगर आप अच्छे नहीं हो, अगर आप अच्छे तरीके से रिप्रेजेंट नहीं कर रहे हो अपने आप को भी, there is very little chance कि आपको मिल जाएगा. जैसे आप आर्टिस्ट हो, ठीक है, आप गेम आर्टिस्ट आपको बनना है, तो अगेन सेम थिंग, आप सॉफ्टवेयर टूल्स सीखो और आपका पोर्टफोलियो बनाओ. अच्छा खासा आर्ट स्टेशन पे बना सकते हो या अपने डोमेन पे बना सकते हो, और वही आप इंटर्नशिप के लिए अप्लाई करो. व्हाइल यू आर डूइंग दिस, राइट, आर्ट भी जो आपको बनाना है वो अलग अलग चीज़ों का हो सकता है, ऑर्गेनिक, नॉन ऑर्गेनिक, क्योंकि कई लोग स्टिक टू हो जाते हैं एक ही पर्टिकुलर चीज़ पे. सेम विद गेम डिज़ाइन में आप अपने कुछ आइडियाज बना लो.
They can make mock GDDs.
Yes, that's a beautiful.
That's the best way to show. I'm assuming.
दिख जाएगा ना. See, आर्ट में क्या होता है, टूल्स में भी, किसी भी इंस्टीट्यूट में, it's like learning गिटार. गिटार सिखाने वाला आपको कॉर्ड सिखाएगा और आपको एक स्ट्रमिंग का मेथड सिखाएगा. करेक्ट. गाना आपको बनाना है. ट्रू. है ना. म्यूजिक आपको करना है. जब आप प्रैक्टिस करोगे तो म्यूजिक बनेगा. सॉफ्टवेयर क्लासेस भी आपको क्या सिखा रहे हैं, टूल बॉक्स सिखा रहे हैं कि ये 15 टूल्स से क्या होता है, पर उससे क्या क्रिएट करना है, वो आपका काम क्रिएट करना है ना. तो वो तो आप ऑनलाइन भी देख लोगे, मिल जाएगा आपको. ट्रू. सो फॉर मी आई थिंक वन, एटलीस्ट से एवरीबडी नीड्स मनी. तो आप अगर आप बहुत अर्ली हो, कॉलेज गोअर हो, तो आपके पास बहुत टाइम है ये सब करने के लिए, पोर्टफोलियो बिल्ड करके अच्छे से अप्लाई करने के लिए. बट अगर आप कहीं पे जॉब कर रहे हो और आपको स्विच करना है, तो कंटिन्यू दैट जॉब टिल यू मेक अ किक-एस पोर्टफोलियो एंड स्टार्ट अप्लाइंग.
बट फॉर पीपल, लेट्स से, हु स्टार्ट as a fresher, as a trainee level, can you explain hierarchy? If let's say you would have continued and not started your own entrepreneurial venture, trainee से कहाँ तक जा सकते हो, and what are the entry level salaries right now, until where can it go at a higher? So
the again सबके अलग अलग हैं.
हाँ, but in general, like
in general you start with a trainee or a junior, or say game designer.
ठीक है.
You become a senior game designer, associate game producer, senior game producer. Then because you're a producer, you can either become a studio head, or a publishing head, because now you understand the publishing aspect of it. कोई भी first job publishing head नहीं बन सकता. He needs to have that experience of going through that ladder. Domains ऐसे start हो रहे कि आप producer start कर सकते हो, maybe game designer definitely. But ये ऊपर के जो skill sets है वो आपको experience से ही आएंगे. And
publishing head के ऊपर कुछ है फिर उनके ऊपर, या
See, the industry is still at a very early stage, right? तो ये एक beautiful phase है, अगर आप उस तरीके positively सोचो तो. Because if you are really good, you can go to a CXO level.
Correct. Then you can see the get into the leadership.
Obviously, क्योंकि in terms of what we also do, right? आपने एक सवाल तभी भी पूछा था of how if the company grows big, right? We believe in delegations. We believe in making leaders.
Right.
Leaders make leaders, right? तो वो अगर आप करोगे, eventually फायदा आपको ही होगा. We have people that we have trained that we don't have to jump in their work. They do it very nicely what they do. तो इंडस्ट्री ये पॉइंट पे है जहाँ पे हर स्टूडियो को ऐसे बंदे चाहिए जो लीड कर पाए इवेंचुअली. तो अगर आप वो स्किल सेट दिखा रहे हो, अगर ग्रो कर पा रहे हो, आप वहाँ से तो आप जाओगे.
And what would the salary ranges look like from fresher till max?
To start, I think abhi you have somewhere, again, it's not as big as IT, at least
that's
for
okay.
now.
But what are the
But
starting?
you'll see somewhere between 22 to 30,000 would
Not
be the
bad.
start. Would be the start, and then
So many engineering jobs still have that.
Yeah. So based on your performance, it's as usual as it can be, or if you are very aggressive in your approach also, it can go to 50% hike also while you are
At
that
changing
job.
jobs.
Yeah.
But
But
when you get to like a top level, what could your salary look like?
so
Annually.
a good programmer, I'll talk about the programmers a bit.
Yeah.
A good programmer, you'll see, has a range of around 60 to 80 lakhs also per annum
Amazing.
today.
Yeah.
In the industry. Again, it also depends on what skill set
you have.
Like if you are a Unreal programmer, probably be 70-80 lakhs. A senior 6 to 10 years of experience. If you are a Unity guy, maybe a little less, because ज़्यादा लोग भी है उतने.
Correct.
Options भी उतने ज़्यादा है लोगों के
Got
पास.
it.
But then post that, there's the equity and all. You if you're good, you can really.
Then there's no ending or upper
And this is a live example, right? I told you about
your intern
my
who
guy.
was now the co-founder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And majority studios अभी वो scale पे है जहाँ पे they need people who can actually become a part of the company. So it's a beautiful phase.
Interesting. Where do you see the future of the gaming industry in the next 10-15 years in India?
In India, I think, see, if you talk about, if I ask you a simple question कि इंडिया का रियल गेमिंग ऑडियंस कौन है, तो आप इमिडिएटली बोलोगे पीपल हु ओन कंसोल्स, हाई एंड मशीन्स, जिसके पास ये फलाना ग्राफिक्स कार्ड है. बट दैट्स नॉट द रियल ऑडियंस ऑफ इंडिया गेमिंग ऑडियंस.
अच्छा.
इंडिया का गेमिंग ऑडियंस ताऊजी है.
क्या?
जो टियर 3 सिटी में बैठ के लो एंड मोबाइल पे लूडो किंग खेल रहा है. That is where the real money comes in
from.
India. And this is the reason why India makes mobile games. क्योंकि हमारा, see, everybody outsiders wants to jump in India because India का audience बहुत बड़ा है.
Correct.
But वो समझ नहीं पा रहे. वो समझ ही नहीं पा रहे कि cater किसको करे. India समझ चुका है. Ludo, why do you think Ludo worked? Ludo made 100 crores in 1 year.
What?
During COVID.
तब तो यार everybody was on it.
Yeah, but why? रिक्शा वाले से लेके पान वाला बैठ के गेम खेल.
It was accessible to everybody.
Exactly. That's why mobile is. But if you ask me about the future, right? मुझे दिख रहा है अगले 5-6 सालों में you will see a lot of PC console games making a great mark on global map for India. Because this generation today is very skillful in what they are doing. आज के डेट में we have roughly around 50 to 60 games which are under development that we know from the industry, जो काफी बढ़िया है.
अच्छा.
Good quality.
See good potential.
Good quality games that are being built in India today.
Right.
That will probably 2-3 of them would just blow up in the global market. और इंडिया को वो एक केस स्टडी की जरूरत है. मोबाइल में नाउ वी हैव अ लॉट ऑफ इन्वेस्टर्स, बट पीसी कंसोल में अभी तक वो बिल्ड नहीं हुआ है थीसिस. तो देयर नीड्स टू बी अ ब्रेक थ्रू. देयर नीड्स टू बी अ ब्लैक मिथ वुकोंग फ्रॉम इंडिया जो वो बना के दे इंडिया के मार्केट को. So I see that happening. I see a lot of AI work happening in gaming also. Engines like Unreal have just brought in a lot of AI elements जो आपका काम ऐसे ही आधा काम तो उसी से हो रहा है. गेम्स तो ऐसे ही बन रहे हैं. एसेट स्टोर पे अगर आप जाओगे किसी भी यूनिटी या अनरियल के, वहाँ पे आपको एक पर्टिकुलर गेम का पूरा एसेट पैक मिल जाता है. लाइक अगर आपको एक हॉरर गेम बनाना है, ऐसे एसेट्स है जो $50-100 में दे गिव अ टेम्पलेट ऑफ अ हॉरर गेम डायरेक्टली. तो कोई क्यों नहीं बनाएगा. ट्रू. द अदर थिंग इज व्हेन आई टॉक अबाउट दिस टैलेंट, राइट, द करंट जनरेशन ऑफ डेवलपर्स, दे वेरी सेंसिबल इन टर्म्स ऑफ स्टोरी टेलिंग. एंड इंडिया के पास, मुझे नहीं लगता इंडिया से ज्यादा किसी के पास स्टोरी है भी पूरे ग्लोब में. यू ओपन एनी पुराण एनी
हमारी जैसी स्टोरीज भी नहीं है. and the way we deliver and say them also.
Yeah, and I really don't use the word mythology because I don't believe India mein wo mythology. I believe it's our history.
Yeah.
There is a lot of evidence and things about everything, right from Mahabharata.
हर चीज का एक proof है.
And people are now making games on all of these things from a cultural angle.
Yeah.
And you already know how Westerners love Indian culture.
True.
And they want to right from David Beckham के हाथ के tattoo से लेके Coldplay के title तक.
Yeah.
So I see that happening. Also, I see Bollywood and South filmmakers getting involved into
gaming
industry. Yeah, because of.
I'm sure they'll put a lot of their money there.
See, eventually it's entertainment,
right?
And now it's getting one level up with immersive, interactive entertainment.
Correct.
जो लोग movies में 400 करोड़ डाल रहे हैं,
हाँ.
उन्हें यहाँ पे 40 करोड़ डालने में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. If the returns, if you see Black Myth Wukong, एक महीने में that game made 8,000 crores. तो अब मूवीज में भी एक कैप है ना इनके पास. आई थिंक पुष्पा वाज द ओनली मूवी जो 2000 करोड़ का मार्क रीच कर रहा था. आई डोंट नो व्हाट द नंबर्स आर नाउ, बट गेम लाइक ब्लैक मिथ वुकंग डिड 8,000 crores in 1 month. तो फिल्म मेकर्स को कौन रोकेगा? If they believe,
they have the money to
if they see potential studios who can build good games. So I see India में ऐसे studios बनने. Obviously we aspire to become one of those.
Yeah.
But that's the scenario that I see.
Very interesting. So one last question before we let you go, Vaibhav. You obviously shared so much about your journey, about your career path, what you learned, how you're building underdogs, future of the gaming industry, etc. For anybody who's aspiring to tread a similar path like yours, जिसको आपके जैसे एक दिन बनना है या something similar करना है, what are 2 or 3 things that you have learned through this journey that can be useful for them, that can help them maybe reach that place a little quicker? Just a few learnings or advice that you would like to share with them.
One of the most important thing is networking. I think it's the holy grail of everything. And I really think that I wasted 3 years of my life, the first 3 years of underdogs, by not doing it. 2011 I went to India IGDC, India Game Developer Conference, which is India's biggest game developer conference. Which happens in November every year. 2011 में मैं पहली बार गया. 2011, 12, 13 I was just standing in a corner listening to the talks. I didn't speak to anybody, and I think I've completely wasted my time that time. 2014 में I gathered some courage and I gave a talk at IGDC. Like I begged for a slot. I gave a talk. That talk changed my entire journey. One talk, because people saw me, and then
the visibility it gives you.
And then the people from IGDC the next year, and in that year itself, Stakelanders came out 2015. So people from IGDC who used to manage IGDC, all big names. Rajesh Rao, the founder of Dhruva, Shruti, who used to head the NASCOM. All of these people, they saw me 6 months back, and then they were taking a delegation to USA. So they just picked me up. They took me to USA. They took me to Singapore. And then it all just snowball effect होते गया. And I think if वो एक talk नहीं होता, तो
बहुत सारी चीजें.
Today, the IGDC that I'm talking about, I'm in the 12 council members who run IGDC.
Wow.
So that is because,
what a journey.
So that is because वो नहीं होता ना. So and then I think everybody should actually just, आप क्या है, थप्पड़ तो नहीं मारने वाला सामने वाला बंदा, ज्यादा से ज्यादा बात नहीं करेगा. Just go and talk to them. Networking.
Give it a shot.
Networking.
I think even when you went to the Games to Win office and when you said that नहीं मुझे 5 मिनट तो चाहिए. And मैं इधर ही हूँ. It shows a lot of courage and the fact that you were ready to go all in, right? At any given point of time. What's the worst case scenario? नहीं बात करेगा, नहीं मिलेगा. कोई बात नहीं.
Absolutely.
Right?
So networking is on top. just make sure that you speak to everybody.
Right.
Even if it doesn't benefit you at that time, it will.
In the future, it has a ripple effect.
It will. It will. The second and the most important thing is perseverance. I think, and that perseverance has made me calm also.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends who are billionaires, but I've seen, I mean, not a lot of, but a couple of them who are, and that's like generational wealth that they have.
Yeah.
But I've seen them shutting their studios right in front of me. It was not about money.
Yeah, it's not about money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to stick to and believe in what you are doing.
Yeah.
Perseverance is also that important. क्योंकि वो आएगा. See, there's one thing that I keep on saying कि आप जो भी कर रहे हो, आप एक रेस में हो. आप और रेस का जो एकमात्र जो एट्रीब्यूट होता है वो है फिनिश लाइन. आप उस रेस में हो. जब तक आप रुकते नहीं हो या फिर आप मुड़ के पीछे नहीं जाते, आप जीतने वाले हो.
True.
चाहे आप भागो, आप रेंगते जाओ कैसे भी जाओ, आप जीतने ही वाले हो.
True.
So that's the mentality that you need to have. That's where perseverance is important.
To keep going.
Going. You never know. आपको और एक like you would relate to this very much on LinkedIn when you actually post something, right? And I actually got to understand this very later in my LinkedIn का journey. When you post something, you will have like आपके पास तो वो नहीं होगा अभी, but initial years, couple of years back, 2 likes आते थे मेरे को, 3 likes आते थे. And 2 months later मैं जब IGDC जाता था तो जो पोस्ट मैंने डाला था उस पोस्ट के बारे में मेरे से 30 लोग बात करते थे. So I used to realize कि जो लोग तुम्हें लाइक नहीं कर रहे हैं ना, they are just shy of not liking it.
वो
पढ़ सब रहे हैं.
वो आज भी होता है.
वो देख
पढ़ते जो पढ़ते वो सब आके लाइक नहीं करते ना, but देख सब रहे हैं. Everybody sees everything.
Yeah. So that something that just struck to me कि यार लोग देख तो रहे हैं. It's reaching. लोग देख रहे हैं. So आप रुको मत, आप डालते रहो.
You keep going.
Yeah. That's something that I would recommend everybody to just showing up is important. I feel showing up is important.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's everything.
Lovely. I think I've had an amazing time, Vaibhav. Your journey is truly inspiring.
Thank you.
At least taught me the importance, like you said, of perseverance and just knowing that you are on the path to winning and you are winning anyways, right? And I think I'm sure it's going to give a lot of insights to all the folks who have tuned in till the very end into the gaming industry, into what the future holds, into how they can get into it, break into it, learn themselves, what resources should they utilize, and so much more. I hope you had a great time. It was lovely having you on the podcast.
Absolutely. It was damn fun conversation. And thank you that you didn't stop me.
No, I wouldn't. I loved your storytelling. And for everyone who's still watching us, I'll be linking all of Vaibhav's social media handles in the description. Do check it out. I'll also be linking his podcast, which you should check, which is the Great Indian Gaming Podcast, where he shares a lot of insights about the industry, calling a lot of veterans from the industry. And that's it for this episode. Before you leave, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Dhairya Decodes channel. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.